It is a bright, sunny Saturday morning, and we are headed to the flea market. It's the Stormville flea market for May, and I don't know what this car's doing. Hold on, I'm gonna start backing in. And we're going to the Stormville flea market. We're gonna see what kind of comics we can find. We're here a little bit early, and yep. We're gonna check out. Hopefully find some good stuff. Never know. So let's take a look at, we'll hunt at the flea market and see what we get up next on this video from Bronzeville Comics. First rule of the flea market is make sure you have note of where you parked. So this green striped tent, food tent, we're right behind that. That'll be a good landmark. So seems pretty quiet yet. Hopefully we can get here while people are pulling stuff out.
There's more shows. Why? I got that colorful dress right there the last time I was here for Chucky's Joiner. Next time I go up,
I'll do the same thing.
Dave,
What's going on?
not much.
I have.
Test. Okay. Hello, panelologists. This is Jim from Bronzeville Comics coming to you with another video. Before we get started, like, comment, subscribe, and check out the description of this video for the eBay store, my email, my whatnot, my Instagram, all that stuff that you can interact with me in ways other than just on this channel. So I went to the Stormville flea market today. They have it about once a month, so this was the second time for the year. And it was a gorgeous Saturday morning, and there were a lot of people selling comic books. And I'm going to start with kind of an aside. There's really a collection I picked up while I was there. And there's a friend of the channel, Warren with Card Comics, who is there at Stormville pretty much every month. A veteran comic collector and dealer. And Warren always gives me great deals. Gotten some great books from him in the past. Got a stack of comics from him today out of his bins. But he had stopped by my show. He's often pokes into my Whatnot shows, and we've had these conversations about Whatnot. And that the theme shows I do tend to do well. Whether it's Archie or horror or war, I've had some good success with theme shows. So what I do is when I get collections, even when I go to the flea market and I find good books that aren't necessarily mainstream superhero books, that are more genre books, I kind of put them aside. And I build up until I have enough books to do a show. So I've been putting Westerns aside. Now, Westerns are pretty niche. But Warren had a short box of Westerns gold, silver, and bronze. And he made me an offer I couldn't refuse. Okay, so here we have the box of books that I picked up from Warren. And there were a bunch of Golden Age, mostly Tom Mix. Number 61, that's pretty late in the run. Real Western Hero 72, a bunch of faucets. 85. I haven't really looked these up, and they're hard to get comps on, but they're pretty cool to just like have these early 50s books. Tom Mix 38. And look, I mean, they're in pretty nice shape. You know, little fold here and there. Tom Mix was I think he goes back to the 1920s when he was in the motion pictures. Number 44. Westerns were big. My dad was big into Westerns when he was a kid. Not so much into comic books, but he was into baseball cards, so we have those. 57. 6. That's nice. Another 6. 7. 11. And again, I mean, look at that, you know, that's a solid book. 12. 16. 20. I was looking at the page count. 21. 23. I don't think there are any keys in here. It's not like Tim Holt, which has the first Ghost Rider. Carter Slade. Did somebody draw on his face? 29. I'm a big movie buff. I don't know if I've seen more than a couple of Tom Mix, but maybe he was John Wayne early in his career was in something with Tom Mix or somebody like that. 59. That's late in the run. And number 60. Is that the end of the trail? At least in terms of the Tom Mix books that we have. So then, let's see what we have here. A bunch of silver. Kid Colt, 116. 137. 167. 169. That's a nice cover. 184. Kirby. 185. I'm not sure if these are reprints or not by this point in time. 187. 189. 190. Wait. Look. There's 116. There's 190. I guess these were reprints. Both the Invisible Gunman. 191. And these are pretty solid. 194. 195. 205. Then we jump into a Rawhide Kid. Number 91. 98. 133. 134. 138. 143. I think that's Gil Kane. 144. That's definitely Gil Kane. He was doing a lot of Marvel covers, but at this point in time, 146, all different genres. 149, and then 15-cent two-gun Kid, issue 100, 101, 103, 109, 118, 119. This is a reprint of the Panther. Was he originally called just the Panther? This is the original. This is a reprint. The original is considered the prototype of Black Panther, and does have quite a bit of value, especially relative to the other books in the run. 122, 123, the Ringo Kid, number 4, number 9, number 21, 22. These are some of the better ones. Mighty Marvel Western 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 23, 24, 25, 26, 28, 41, 42. Now, some DC Tomahawk. 137. This I might need. This is a 1972 book, 138. And the reason I know that it's a 1972 book, all these 48-page, 25 centers, if they're July to December, they're 1971. And if they're January to June, they're 1972. So, and these look like they're very likely upgrades over PC. So that is awesome. And some earlier Tomahawk. That's a pretty cool cover. 104, 105. Yeah, they really kind of went more sci-fi in the late 60s with these Tomahawks. It's amazing he lasted this long. 114, to be honest. 117. Is that Neil Adams? I am not positive, but it does look like it could be Neil. Definitely the composition looks like his. 122. Then the Outlaw Kid, number 15. This is a good one. Western Gunfighter featuring the Black Rider and the Apache Kid. 12, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. And then some weird Western tales with Jonah Hex. 33, 39. I don't know which is the first Scalp Hunter. Yeah. I don't think it's either of those. 49, 52, 57. Scalp Hunter takes over when Jonah Hex got his own book. 61, 63, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, and 70. And all in pretty nice condition. So that's the box of Westerns that I picked up, and that's all going to get prepped for a future Western themed show on Whatnot. So by the time I picked up that short box, I had already a fairly large stack of comics in my duffel bag, and I had to take the short box of my bag back to my car, and then I went back around to look at the rest of the dealers. But I'm going to go in reverse order pretty much of how I picked up the books, because the best books I picked up, for the most part, were at the very first table I stopped at. And so there were two, friends of the channel there, guys that I've seen before, local dealers that I've come to know over the last few years, really great guys. There was Joe and there was Dave, and they were set up next to each other, but they were kind of like away from the antique section. The front, which is also common to the Meadowlands flea market, the front is more of the food. All the food's right in the front, and then it's different kinds of vendors, more clothes and things of that nature. And then towards the back are the people who clean out the homes or have the comics and what have you. So they were set up in the front, which was a little weird. And I only knew that because I had seen Joe at another booth, and he's like, yeah, Dave and I are both here. Come check it out. So from Joe, I picked this up, the first appearance of Omega Red. So in terms of how I already went through, I haven't yet gone through and organized the Western box. I know where those books are going to end up in a Whatnot show, but I also haven't graded them yet. All of these books I've gone through, graded, checked, etc., and I'm going to split them up. So this is a potential slab. If I can get that in 9.8, it's a great pickup. Here's a Cloak and Dagger #1 from the Limited series. Their first ongoing series. This is interesting. I'm just noticing this now. This is Master of Kung Fu 115, first appearance of Death Dealer. And there's a not to be sold stamp, but it was sold to me. These are usually complimentary copies that maybe are given to creators or people that visited the Marvel offices back in the day. This is very late in the run. I also picked up this. This is a real strong 9.8 contender, the Terrifics. A team that we're already getting Mr. Terrific and Metamorpho in the DC universe. I would be shocked if we don't get Plastic Man. And there's a current version of Phantom Girl. This is kind of a wink and a nod to the Fantastic Four, Fantastic Terrific. You got the stretchy guy and the smart guy, kind of all in one. The guy that is kind of, has a monstrous appearance, and then Phantom Lady instead of Invisible Woman. There's just not really a Human Torch in there. But that's a strong 9/8 contender. So that's going in the slab pile. The other two have gone in the sell pile. Legends, Legends number 3. This is the first appearance of the new Suicide Squad in a newsstand. And a few books I picked up from Dave. Just a nice Bronze Age Iron Man 104. A Superman Batman 22. This is one of those Batman Beyond appearances. And then this I'm going to put in my grading pile. I think this might have a shot with a good press to become a 9/8 contender. I haven't got a 9/8 of this book yet. This is Static number 1. This did come in the poly bag with a card, but it's not the Platinum edition, which is extremely expensive. This has value when you get to a 9/8. So that's going to go in the slab pile. And then most of these, some of these others were $1 bin, $2 bin books. Some of them I paid for. So the next stack were I didn't pay more than $2 for any of these books. Punisher number 3 from the Marvel Knights era. I recently got a collection that had all the issues except number 3, so I'm going to put this together so I have a set. So that's going in, it's going in the set pile. Another $1 book, first Capwolf. It's a mid-grader. These are probably going to be giveaways. I like to give away books, either new books, reprints, that when I do Whatnot sales, either something I think that's interesting to read that's new, or a classic reprint that, maybe not everybody's read. Maybe not everybody's read the first Justice League or the first Legion. So that's going to be in a giveaway pile. Actually, I have a giveaway box over there somewhere. I'll put it over there. This was a really nice book. It's Batman 475, but it has this sticker stuck to the cover. This half sticker. First appearance of Renee Montoya. Amazing Spider-Man 26. This is the death of Ms. Marvel. This is a nice book. This is Deathlock number 1. It's a prestige format miniseries for Marvel. So this for a couple bucks, no brainer. A couple of Captain Marvels. 57 with this classic Thor battle. And 50, this is the first appearance of Dr. Minerva. Not to be confused with the Dr. Minerva that Zsa Zsa Gabor played in the last episode of Batman 66. So a lot of these were $2 bin books. I got them from, he gave me a package deal that... So the next booth had some pretty cool stuff, and there was like $2 a book. I also picked up these Khazars. Number 2 is missing the Marvel value stamp, but these are all in pretty decent condition. I got them for less than $2. 2, 3, 5, and 6. Why not? I picked up this Mr. Miracle 23. This is when they rebooted the series well after Kirby had left. And some of these later issues in the later 70s have some fantastic artwork. Marshall Rogers worked on them. I believe Walt Simonson did some of the books. And the interiors on this book are Michael Golden. So I think that's an underappreciated series just for the artwork. I picked up this Uncanny X-Men 316, the first appearance of Monet St. Croix. I think this is a pretty good spec book. Put that in the spec pile. The Gatefold of X-Men number 1. I think that was $1. Then there were a few Charlton horror books. Haunted, 32, 64, and 47. All in decent condition. That's going to go in a Whatnot Horror Show. Picked up, I think this is Avengers Inc. This Alex Ross cover. I mean, come on. Come on. Then, this was in, I forget if this is in the $2 bin or the $1 bin. It didn't really matter much because he gave me a great deal on like everything I picked up. 5 copies of Dazzler number 2. All pretty sharp. Taylor Swift, gonna be Dazzler. We've talked about that enough. I'd wait and see. I can wait. I have my tickets. I can wait till the movie comes out to find that out because there's going to be plenty else to get excited about. And Dazzler number 3 with Doctor Doom on the cover. Listen, if I can pick up for $1 Amazing Spider-Man, even these later ones, 364 and 368, not Carnage or Venom books, which limits their key worthiness. Then Dollar Bin, Wildcats 1, more Jim Lee stuff, X-Men 7. This book was hot a couple of years ago because there was some word they may be developing this William Shatner's Tech World, but it still has a little bit of value in a 9.8. I might slab that. Classic Fantastic Four cover with Doctor Doom overlooking Yancey Street on Christmas. The Miracle on Yancey Street. What it was this was $2 books, this vendor, and if you bought 10, you got them for $15. So I figured, let me get up to 10. Batman Shadow of the Bat #1. First appearance of Victor Zsasz. A reprint of Weird Fantasy #1. Russ Cochran, I think, was the publisher of this. Silver Sable #1. Maybe if we ever get her in live action, this will pop a little bit. But I have to think that she's, well, who knows? Who knows what Sony's going to do? Another Wildcats. This is an interesting book. Let's see. With and this one. Black Hawk 271. I've been collecting this series in dollar bins because it was recommended by John from Bronze and Modern Comics, and I don't even know. I might have this one already, but I'm trying to finish this 80s Black Hawk run-up on the lowdown. I'm not like searching them out on eBay or trying to find them in high grade. Just get a nice reader set together. And then Warren had a bunch of books. I gotten all those westerns from him, and then I picked up a stack of other books. Some cool books in here. This one I think is undervalued. This is the third volume of Phantom Stranger. His first series was the Golden Age series back in the early 50s, and then he had that series in the 70s. This is a miniseries, but it's a newsstand covered by Mike Mignola. I'm going to put that in a spec pile because I do think we're going to see Phantom Stranger at some point in live action. We did see him a little bit. I wasn't really satisfied with his appearance in the Swamp Thing TV series that only lasted one season, despite the fact that it was good. This, I think, is an underappreciated book as well. Justice League America 34 by Adam Hughes, with Cheesecake of Green Flame, Green Fury. She kept changing her name. Beatriz DaCosta, part of the Justice League run of this time. We know we're getting a Booster Gold TV series. We have Blue Beetle, Zola Mardiera, reprising his role in the new DCU. Hopefully we'll get some Ted Cord and maybe some iteration. And I think that's a really useful character. I might get that slabbed. Classic cover of Uncanny X-Men 274. It does have some staining on the top. But recent events have made this popular. First Full Bishop and Uncanny X-Men 283. A nice Silver Age 80-page reprint, Marvel Tales #7. DC Romance, Falling in Love, #97. It's a pretty nice cover there. This is a low-grade copy. There's a coupon clip because somebody was able to enjoy themselves at Palisades Park 60 years ago. So there's that. It doesn't affect the story. Supergirl, #7. This Supergirl run has been gaining some momentum. When I've been putting Supergirl up and whatnot shows, people jump on it. I think a lot of these female DC superheroes, Wonder Woman's increased in popularity. That book, like from top to bottom, used to be like a nothing burger. Supergirl, Zatanna, and we'll talk about her a little bit more later. Batgirl, all very popular now. Batman 258, a nice 100-pager, and this is the first mention of Arkham Hospital. Batman Annual, #6. I have a large run of Batman, but I hadn't collected the annuals. Actually, I bought a collection that was issued like 150 to 500, and it didn't have the annuals. And often talk about it. If you're collecting a run of books, do you also collect the annuals? Me, yes. That's going in the PC. Lobo #1. Limited series. This is his first solo series. That's going to go in the spec pile. I think Lobo will go a little crazy if we get an announcement. Like everybody figures Jason Momoa will be playing him at some point. Adventure Comics 372, Neil Adams cover. This is the first appearance of the Legion of Supervillains as teenagers. They previously appeared as adults in, I think it was Superman 121. This next book is really a total cover by, and it's Lois Lane in hell marrying the devil. So Lois did some wacky things around this time. And then a Neil Adams cover of Jimmy Olsen. They must have thought, well, Marvel's doing great with those Aunt May on the hospital bed books. Let's put Jimmy on the hospital. That'll really draw the kids in. Action Comics 300 anniversary issue. Unfortunately, the centerfold is missing. This has been a hot book. X-Men 25 with the adamantium being removed from Wolverine's skeleton by Magneto. Uncanny X-Men 193, the first appearance of Firestar, and this is a newsstand. I do have a direct 9.8 of this for my PC. This is not a 9.8. X-Men 267, the second, well, I guess it would be the third appearance of Gambit. Another DC romance book, a 12 center. Young Love number 73. How dare you criticize me, Father? I am what you've made me. That sounds a lot more salacious than I'm sure that it is. What do you think? Almost makes you want to read it. The Heartaches, the Happiness of Young Love. It's definitely late 60s. Go-go boots, psychedelic trade dress. Couldn't pass that up. Commandy number 1. And some Jack Kirby goodness. This was in a dollar bin. Now, some of the dealers had... I did pay more than a couple bucks for a lot of these books, but some of them I did pay $1 for. This one, Radioactive Man number 1. Sure. Those Bongo comics, Simpsons comics have been increasing in value. Beavis and Butthead number 1. Not a 9.8, but still worth it. And then we talked about reprints. I had some DC Silver Age classics. How about some Marvel milestones? X-Men 9, first X-Men Avengers team up or meeting. Amazing Spider-Man 129, first appearance of the Punisher. And Fantastic Four number 5, the first appearance of Doctor Doom. I like to use these as giveaways because a lot of readers, even if you are a big-time collector, if you have, this book in your collection, it very well could be slabbed. This gives people an opportunity to read it. I like to use those as my whatnot giveaways part. Detective Comics 599. This is a Manhunter comic. This is a James comic. He's loves this book. It's the first appearance of Henri Ducard, who Liam Neeson played in Batman Begins. Fighting Marines 121, Bronze Charlton War comic. In pretty decent shape. I figured for $1, why not? And then this book, Justice League America 69. This is part of the Doomsday storyline. This is kind of where he goes on the rampage against the Justice League. It's a newsstand, and this is a contender. And especially in a newsstand, that is worth getting graded. And then that particular vendor had 2 bigger books that I picked up. One kind of goes with the Western theme. Kid Called Outlaw 102. I believe this is from 1961. That has to be a Jack Kirby cover. And this is, I think this predates all their hero stuff, if I'm not mistaken. Right? If this is January 1961, then that's before Fantastic Four 1. And the Westerns held on for a little while, but if you remember, if you're familiar with the story at the time, DC controlled the distribution rights for Marvel Comics. So Marvel could only put out, until 1968, a certain number of books. So they had to cancel some of their longer-running, more genre titles to replace them with superhero titles. So this book is from... it's 1962, right? It came out in 1961, the cover date 62. So this was right as the heroes were burgeoning. And then this, I've been going back and forth on grading it. I think I'm going to just sell it raw because it's kind of like, kind of just short of really being worth. I think it's like a 7.5. You'd want to be solidly at an 8 to get $200 value on this. And I just don't think it's there. I just don't think it's an 8. But this is the first cover appearance of Gwen Stacy. Not the greatest cover appearance anyone's ever had, but it is her first cover. Now, the next guy, and I bought some books from him last time, but I don't think he had these particular books, or this particular one that I picked up. And I was going through, and I was picking up some books, and I'm like, okay, I'll make him an offer. Then he says, oh, everything's half price. I'm like, alrighty. So I picked up a handful of books. Let me see which ones I picked up from him. Yeah. So Batman 261, 100 pager. It does have a pretty sizable spine split, but it looks great. And then this newsstand edition, this is going to go in a spec pile, Night Thrasher one. I don't know why I've been into Night Thrasher, but since they brought him back into the comics, that sometimes portends the possibility of seeing him in live action. I don't know if we'll see Night Thrasher in live action. He might be kind of used as a throwaway. That's altogether possible. Another Batman 322 with Captain Boomerang. Everybody loves Batman. Justice League 89. And then this is the book, and it's in pretty decent shape. As a matter of fact, I just pressed a copy of this very high grade recently, just the other day. But this is not this. This is going to go in a spec pile because this character's coming. I did a video, or part of a video, on her keys recently. And it's DC Superstars number 11 with this Zatanna cover by Gray Morrow. This is a pretty pricey book, and I got it for like, I don't know, like 20, 25 bucks. It is a mid-grader. I do have, I think, 3 other copies of this, including that one that I just pressed, which I have it at 9496. Fingers crossed. The only thing that really is lacking with it is there's a little bit of discoloration on the interior cover, but corner sharp, spine immaculate. Hopefully something will come of it. I'm going to put that one in the spec pile. Now, this is an interesting book. This was another vendor that had like $2, $3 books. Or he had priced books, but they were priced pretty low. And I did work them down a little bit. Yeah. Incredible Hulk 256, the first full appearance of Sabra. Sabra has been confirmed to be a character. She's been cast for the Captain America New World Order. I do have concerns about the character because she's an Israeli superhero. And even just the fact like that they're going to use an Israeli superhero, much like casting Gal Gadot for Wonder Woman, it means that they've lost the market in most Arab countries. A lot of Arab countries, just because if there's a Jewish performer in it or has anything to do with Israel, they're not going to carry it. So I'm interested to see if the character's role in the Captain America movie still stands. But this is a book that's bumped up a little bit. This is a pretty nice copy. Probably not nice enough to get graded. Just missed it by that much. But pretty cool book. Then I got Marvel Tale 70, or I'm sorry, Marvel Team Up 79, Spider-Man and Red Sonja. Red Sonja is actually Mary Jane. Spoiler warning. You've had 45 years to read the book. Then Action 598. Actually, I just put one of these in the press. This is the first appearance of Checkmate, an organization that does have a connection to Amanda Waller and the Suicide Squad. That was somebody else. That was I just bought a couple books from another vendor, including an Infinity War 3. Now, this next book was the only book I bought. The guy's stuff was pricey, and I'm trying to think. He had Disney, and then he had one other title, maybe Hulk or something, kind of random like that. But I picked up this, and I was just thinking about this idea recently. I picked this up because it's Donald Duck, the Olympian torchbearer, on the cover. And I was thinking about it. You know, people pick up bubblegum covers, tennis covers, cigar covers, covers that link to something that they're interested in. I'm a huge Olympic guy. So I was actually driving to work the other day, or home from work, and I had this idea in my head of, like, what comics have Olympic themes. I think Teen Titans 4 does. There are a couple of early issues of Batman and the Outsiders. There's that, as the Batman Hulk Treasury takes place in the Olympics. So there are a few other kind of random ones, but I thought this was a cool book to pick up. I had to pay $8 for it, but that's going in the PC. What the heck? Now, the rest of the books, oh no, these two I picked up. These 5 I picked up from the first vendor I saw. I hit the space bar again. At least I'm not yawning. So these were each $1 or $2. I think these were each $1. Yeah. Another William Shatner's Tech World. This was the first vendor I came across. Infinity War 6. That's a really nice copy. That might be getting graded, and so might the Tech World. Spectacular Spider-Man 51. Come on. That for $1. Iceman #1. Newsstand, his first solo series. And Animaniacs Christmas Special. This is the first appearance of the Animaniacs in comics. I was alerted to this book when I was doing my DC top 10 books by year in the 1990s. I do have a 9.6 graded. I would love to have a 9.8, but I don't want to buy a 9.8. I want to get a raw. This is not a 9.8. But still a cool book. Then the second one I went to, they had a lot of really good books, but the pricing was all over the place. So the first book I looked at, I think, was Amazing Spider-Man 12, which was like $285, $245, something crazy like that. Next book is a Shazam 1 for $85. I'm like, oh, it's going to be one of these. I said, okay, maybe I can work a deal. And I did. And I picked up a few books. This is a little bit lower grade, missing a chip out of the bottom. It's Aquaman #3. That's a cool book. This is low grade. It's spine split, cover detached. Flash 120. This is the first team up in Flash and Kid Flash. That's a PC bound book. And then this is very nice. And this might be a PC replacement. It's Marvel Feature #2. This is the second appearance of the Defenders. I have this at about a 7.5, and it actually could be better with a press. The most of the thing is just waviness by the spine, but there is a little bit of discoloration here and there. In my database, I have my current copy is a 7.0. This is 7.5, so I really want to compare them. And then this I saw, it was only listed for $22. Mid-grader, but New Gods #1. Not good enough to get graded. And I'm not sure. I have another copy. That's going to stay in the PC, the better of the two. This one I saw right away, and I think it's pretty nice. It does have a little bit of a crease at the bottom, but I think it has a lot of potential with a press. And I would love to upgrade my PC copy, and that's Swamp Thing #1. This is the first appearance of the Swamp Thing. We had a different Swamp Thing in House of Secrets '92, and this is also a book from DC book from 1972. Totally my wheelhouse. Great Bernie Wrightson cover. I'm hoping, I think maybe an 8 on this. Again, there's the major defect is that kind of subtle but fairly long crease at the bottom. It's not going to be able to get pressed out, but we'll see what it comes out. And then this book is low grade, but the price was ridiculous. They had it priced at $135, and then I bulked everything together and got another little bit off. But this is probably like a 2.5. It does have some chipping and splitting, but it's intact, and the cover's completely attached, and so is the centerfold. And this is Batman 139, the first appearance of the first Batgirl, Betty Kane. So this is definitely going to be great. It does need some work, and it needs some delicate work because it's got like a fold in the back, and it's the paper is fairly brittle. So I'm going to have to be very careful with this in cleaning and pressing it. But I don't know if I'm going to accelerate that and put that towards the top of my list or not. Maybe I will. I do have another copy that I'm pretty certain is an upgrade over this. So, but this was good. They had some other good books in the box, but again, the prices weren't really anything I thought I could work with for the condition they were in. The thing is, like that Swamp Thing book, and even the Marvel feature book, is when you get a book, they don't realize how good the grade is or can be. So that was my flea market haul for today. I grabbed a ton of books, And I didn't necessarily expect. I did pay up for the bigger keys. I did get some good dollar books, but I did pay up for the bigger keys, and that's okay because I got a great deal on them. Some of them are going to go PC. So let me know what you think of the books that I picked up. I always enjoy reading your comments, so leave them down below. In the meantime, you can take a look at a couple of my other videos here. And this is Jim saying until next time, enjoy your comics.